Hey, Greg.
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good seeing you. Beautiful day we're sharing.
It is a good day. So I just kind of wanted to go over where we are because I'm at the end of the contract, but make sure I've done everything I was supposed to do. So maybe you'll talk a little bit about, tell me again what we've accomplished and.
Yeah, so your conservation stewardship program that run the last 5 years will be ending this October. You'll receive your last payment probably mid-October. That'll conclude the years from 2021 to 2025. Mm-hmm. And inside this, and what you've accomplished, is we've completed your cover crops, your 2 acres of cover crops. We've got the forage planting where we interseeded clover into your pasture fields and your hay fields to diversify those. We've also completed your tree plantings for wildlife and your pollinator strips. Those were all conducted in the first 3 years. These last 2 are just operation and maintenance and just the payments for such a good conservation stewardship you are.
So now this, I've had several contracts with you. Our first contracts, we did most of the work out here around the farmstead where we did the water lines and the cattle lines for rotational grazing. And, I've had several contracts with you. Is that normal that there's a lot of people that have?
So it is very normal. EQIP was the first contract that we had, and that's sort of our fix-it program. That's where we build infrastructure and try to address the resource concerns that we're seeing and that you want to address. And then a lot of times once that EQIP program is done and we get those programs fixed, then we want to enhance them. And that's where we roll into the second contract with conservation stewardship.
Mm-hmm. We actually did work on this invasive species issue that was in my woodlands. So that we had to have a specialist for that. I don't forget what they're called.
So technical service providers, so we actually you can hire a technical service provider for specialty inventories and we can do that under EQIP as far as hire the technical service provider, and then they'll write their own conservation plan with you to address mostly invasives or even openings, forest stand improvement. And by using the outside technical sources, then we'll reimburse you for those costs. Mm-hmm. And then we can follow up with another contract to implement those practices that specialist recommended.
So how many contracts can you have with NRCS? I mean, over a period of time, is there?
Yeah, so EQIP contracts are usually 3 years.
Okay.
We try to get everything, all the implementation of the infrastructure done in the first 2, operation and maintenance on the 3rd. But as long as you are enduring resource concerns, we can fix those through a contract. Not guaranteed, it is competitive, but there's no limitations. It's just on the amount of resource concerns we address. We don't want to limit it too. We also want to work within people's financial abilities. Mm-hmm. So we may have a lot of resource concerns that would maybe take a lot of money to address, but you may want to just do those in a couple of year increments.
Okay.
So we can do multiple EQIP contracts. Now CSP, Conservation Stewardship, that's a 5-year program. So you'll have one contract for a 5-year period to address those resource concerns or enhance them.
And can I reapply to that program if I still have work to do?
So yes, so even though we're doing a great job out there on the land, we can always do better. Yep. So that after 5 years, that contract can be renewed.
So we've been working together almost 6 or 7 years now, and of course we did the water for the livestock and the high tunnel, and the rotational grazing has been great. You wouldn't believe, just having the animals go over where I have crop fields, how much productivity has increased by having that, and the grass that we never had before.
Yeah, and there are 2 resource concerns on the grazing is, number 1, plant diversity, but we're also looking for good clean water and shade. So we have to think about the livestock health in this too. But yeah, good rotation, especially with small ruminants, to prevent those parasites from getting them grazing too low. Keep those livestock healthy, so that's where your profit is.
We've been really pleased with the waterers that we put in the fence line over there, and they don't get muddy, from their design.
No, and they're frost free. There's less maintenance to them. The heavy use areas that we put around them keeps the erosion down and keeps them high and dry. So better health there, less soil erosion. Makes a good rotation for winter, especially for the winter months when things get a little bit saturated.
So let's talk about the high tunnel. Now, originally we got this to exceed our planting times,
right.
The shoulder seasons.
Yep.
And that's what mostly high tunnels are for, right?
Yes. Yeah. So essentially in our transitional area of climate, we just want to prolong that growing season. We want to be able to start earlier and end later and just provide the most product we can through a growing season.
So these are a pretty good investment, and that's why the
Yes.
cost sharing is so great. But what is my responsibility now that I've applied this, we're using it, when you finish with the practice like this?
So once your contract is completed, your legal requirements are fulfilled.
Okay.
You don't have to, you have completed it. All of our designs, all of our conservation practices are designed with a practice life. Everything we design has a practice life. We want this to last a certain period of time. The high tunnels are designed for a 10-year practice. So legally, your contract is fulfilled. It's your high tunnel.
Okay.
We do try to design and build things that will last longer than that, though. Yeah, so NRCS, we don't have our own set of specs for the high tunnels, so we are going off the manufacturer's recommendations. So as long as it is from the manufacturer rated for this area, then we will accept it.
Okay.
And you can always grow. You can always go more to it. I have a lot of people that wants fans. I have people that wants to put heaters in them. That's fine. The cost share is gonna be limited to the base model. But if you want to go over and beyond, is what we call that, then you're more than welcome to, if it fits your operation.
So we had to grow in the ground, but what if I did want to put raised beds? How do you do that and still meet the specifications?
So our specs will allow, especially for ADA compliance, we do have older individuals that need some raised beds. We can raise those up to 18 inches and still work off of that platform. Depending on if you're organic or not, depends on what kind of building material we're going to contain those in. Once we get all the little details ironed out, we don't. The only thing we're really looking for is no benches. We don't want to turn it into a greenhouse as where we got hanging baskets. We want to use the soil that's here.
Yeah. So the crops have to grow down in the soil, in the raised beds. Okay.
But we still can bring in about 18 inches of material to grow in.
Okay.
If we need raised for other issues. A lot of times the circumstances are not, our locations may not be prone to the best soils that we have.
Yeah.
So we may add amendments to bring that up 18 inches to actually allow it to be productive.
Greg, I'd like to go over and show you the progress on the monarch pollinator strip I have, and also on the wildlife, the tree planting strip I had.
Okay. How's it doing?
It's been a good year. That first year of the monarch, we had monarchs the first year. That's really unusual,
Yeah, usually it takes a couple.
And it was kind of lucky we planted it there next to the woods, because what we found is, monarchs, the worms like to be on the flowers, but then the monarchs, when they're drying off, they like to be up on the trees.
Okay.
But the wildlife planting, I was surprised at the survival rate that I got on that, because they're just bare root trees when we put them in.
We're shooting for 30 or 70% survival rate, but you got,
I bet I've got 95%.
On your tree planting, I know we've this is sort of multiple use. We wanted to increase the oak species. So from start of this, when we started, how many trees did you have to start, and how many do you have now?
Well, when I started with working with you all, and then on my own, I didn't have any new oaks, which was an interest of mine. I've planted 1,600 in the past 5 years. This was a big swath that was, you helped me cost share with what I did. And I've been really surprised again at the survival that we've gotten. And I try to wait 2 years but to kind of see, because sometimes oaks will kick out that new sprout from the things. But then the hickories were really hard. They were this tall, and a lot of those did not survive. And I was surprised this year as much as we had it. And of course, remember, this is mixed species, so it has a lot of other things in here besides the oaks, because they were looking, that's an oak, but they were looking to have pawpaws and some other trees that we had in here, this one, but that would have either nuts or berries. Yeah. Anything
induced for wildlife.
Yeah. You know, my farm is Grand Oak Farm. And there used to be oaks all the way from the church, Oak Hill Church, all the way to the end of the 1,000 acres in 1778. And so as the road widened, that knocked out all the oaks that were along. And then people took them down as we sold the farm. So I really wanted to plant a large number of oaks. And I have, as I said, where I've planted 1,600. But it was nice to work with the biologists that came here, because they were the ones that designed this, didn't they?
Technical service provider.
Technical service provider.
Yeah, the forestry and biologists, they went together and we was able to do twofold: keep the heritage of the plant of the farm, but also provide a lot of wildlife benefits to surrounding deer, turkey.
Yeah, and that was an interest for me too, because as farms have gone away, golf courses have come in, I end up with a lot of wildlife here on this farm. And I like to try to keep them here. And so I needed to provide a place for them to be able to have shelter, but as well, these are all nut or fruit trees, you know, so that they have food.
And then also across the road, we've built a corridor, a travel corridor. So with all the combinations between shelter and food, you know, they've got a pristine place to be. So, you know, Dana, we've looked at all of your contracts and all the multiple best management practices we put in. Your land mass is above average for the county, but that don't mean that we just work with those larger land masses. NRCS will work with tenths of acres. Like I had mentioned earlier to you on the, you know, there's really no small scale. If you're actively engaged in agriculture, we're here to help you.
So Greg, this is the pollinator strip. I think it's 2 years old, I think maybe, 2 or 3. And the problem is we sprayed it, you know, to kill all the grass. The first, I guess this is year 3. First 2 years, the flowers were predominant. But this year, because it rained so much, and I think because there was seed in the ground, that it's overtaking this. What can I do now?
So the issue is competition, and we've got the wrong species as out competing the ones we want to keep. So we've got some options: either chemical control, mechanical control, or, you know, we can look at. I don't think we need to go drastic and redo it. But what I'd really like to do is consult our wildlife biologist and let him give us the alternatives it's going to take to re-establish this pollinator. I honestly believe if we open the ground back up a little bit, let that sunlight dampen the growth of this cool season grasses that are just killing us right now, that naturally it'll come back after we suppress some of the cool seasons.
Well, I was even wondering if I should just mow it, and that will this cool season grass will stop, and maybe the flowers will come up until we figure out if we need to spray it or something. But I was afraid to mow it.
Well, let me see what the schedule would be, because I don't want to mow it now, because essentially the fescue's done. Yeah. So what I'm hoping is when we get hot and dry, that'll actually suppress the cool seasons anyway, and our wildflowers will come out. We may not have a good spring, but we may have a good fall pollinator patch.
I see. Okay.
So let's evaluate it, and then let me talk to Stephen, and we'll see what direction he would recommend us go in.
Okay. But see, now this one, I've had
yeah.
people stop here and want to take pictures of their kids when
yeah.
this gets into full bloom.
Right.
But all these, see, are the coneflowers and others are all out now. But
Yeah.
it did take almost 3 years for me to see this happen. And now this is shading out the grasses.
Yeah, you don't, I mean,
So,
you got
I
a little
mean,
Johnson grass, and that's
yep.
about it.
This is a big success. And, you know, there's all down in the lower levels. There's other flowers that we've done. And one of the things that your biologist and others have told me is we don't mow this till January because there's a lot of pollinator species that live in the stems,
Right.
you know, over the winter in this area.
Right, protecting
So
them.
it's protected and lets them come back out. But in another month, this will be absolutely gorgeous.
Well, this is beautiful because, and very successful. I mean, just to have those 2-3 little patches of Johnson grass and,
Yeah.
in a old cornfield.
Yep.
So that shows success.
Yeah, and of course all my oaks are on the other side that run along the road that I've replanted.
Yeah.
Next to, these are 2 of the last oaks we've been working on lately. But yeah, so I'm pleased with this one because there's just so many great species, and there's the pollinator right there.
That's right. Yeah, there's so many resources out there that are neglected, and we just got to get those individuals to take that first step and come in and talk.